This program is provided by Universal Genesis.
All right, let's get right into it. When you think about the great philosophers, you probably picture them as these grand architects, building enormous systems of thought. But what if one of the most brilliant minds of the 20th century wasn't a builder at all? What if he was actually a demolition expert, here to tear the whole thing down? You might think Ludwig Wittgenstein was just another voice in the long, crowded conversation of philosophy. Someone who just wanted to add his 2 cents to the debates of his time. But nope, not even close. He wasn't there to add a new chapter. He was there to write the final sentence and close the book. For good. This is the incredible story of how Wittgenstein tried to silence philosophy itself. Now, to really get a handle on this wild mission of his, we have to clear up a major misunderstanding about what he was actually fighting against. You see, a lot of people think Wittgenstein's big crusade was against a trend called German idealism, this idea that reality is all in the mind. But here's the thing. By the time he showed up in Britain, that battle was pretty much over. His own teacher, the famous Bertrand Russell, had already won that fight. So whatever Wittgenstein was up to, it was way bigger than just cleaning up some local academic squabble. So if that particular ism was already old news, what was this intense, brilliant man actually focused on? What was the real target of that powerhouse intellect? He was asking much, much deeper questions. He didn't care if one school of thought was right and another was wrong. He was digging into the very foundations of the whole enterprise. His question wasn't what we should think, it was about whether we can even do philosophy at all. And his diagnosis? It was revolutionary. He basically concluded that philosophy isn't some noble search for truth. It's a disease, a kind of system error caused by the very language we use. For Wittgenstein, philosophical problems don't need answers. They need to be dissolved. Think about that. He argued they only exist because we twist our language into knots, trying to talk about things that are fundamentally beyond words. You know, the meaning of life, the nature of God, the whole shebang. So this wasn't about winning a debate. It was an extermination. His mission was to build a logical system so perfectly sealed that it would become impossible to even ask those old philosophical questions anymore. He wasn't just trying to prove Aristotle wrong. He was trying to make it so Aristotle's questions couldn't even be asked. And to do this, he built a tool, a strange, beautiful, and absolutely ruthless little book called the Tractatus Logico-Philosophical. And you have to understand, it wasn't meant to be a work of philosophy. It was a weapon designed to end it. And the attack begins immediately. For over 2,000 years, Western philosophy was built on the idea of things or substances. Wittgenstein's very first big move just sweeps all of that off the table. He says the world isn't made of objects. It's made of the facts about those objects. And with that one move, you see the first casualty. The entire field of ontology, the study of being itself, which was Aristotle's baby, is immediately made impossible. If the world is only facts, you can't talk about the essence of a thing, only the facts about it. The whole 2,000-year conversation is just over. Boom. Just like that, the first huge pillar of philosophy is gone. The ancient search for the fundamental stuff of the universe is just dismissed as a mistake, a confusion of language. So what's next on the demolition list? Ethics and value. Wittgenstein argued that language can only describe facts, how things are in the world. But words like good and evil, well, those aren't facts out there in the world. They're judgments we make about the world. And because of that, you can't really speak about them in a meaningful, logical way. This move silences another absolute giant, Immanuel Kant. His entire life's work of trying to rationally prove what is right and wrong, according to Wittgenstein, it's a nonsensical project from the get-go. You can show your values by the way you live your life, but you can never logically state what they are. And there goes another one. Just like that, a whole other massive branch of philosophy is chopped off. Thousands of years of debate about the nature of the good, all of it relegated to silence. But this is the real masterstroke. It's the final mind-bending move. After using his own book to demolish all of philosophy, Wittgenstein turns the weapon back on itself. He famously says that his own sentences are, in the end, also meaningless. They're like a ladder. You use the ladder to climb up and see the world correctly. But once you're up there, you have to kick the ladder away. And the final target is the biggest one of all, the very idea that philosophy is a keeper of some special truth. By saying its own propositions are just disposable tools, the Tractatus completes its mission of self-erasure. There is no philosophical truth left to preserve. The job is done. The building is down. So, after this incredible systematic demolition, this great philosophical cleanup, what's left? What does the library of human thought even look like after Wittgenstein has been through it? Just imagine walking into that library. All the sections you thought would be there are just gone. So, what did he actually get rid of? I mean, just look at this list. The study of being, gone. The study of good and evil, gone. Theology, the study of God, unspeakable. Even the study of the self, the I, and the entire history of philosophy itself, all of it, gone. The shelves are empty, cleared of all the books that were trying to do the impossible, to say what can only be shown. And what did all these discarded fields have in common? Well, they were all built on this one single foundational belief. A belief held by pretty much everyone from Aristotle to Kant to Hegel, that through carefully crafted language, through logic and reason, we can arrive at fundamental truths about the world. Wittgenstein's big claim was that this was the original sin of philosophy, the first wrong turn. Which brings us to the final and most famous chapter of his life. After publishing this masterpiece, this logical bombshell, Wittgenstein, one of the most renowned thinkers on the planet, just walked away from philosophy. He quit. Why? You know, a lot of people think he left out of frustration or that he was defeated somehow, but that completely misses the point of this whole project. He didn't leave because he failed. He left because he believed, with every fiber of his being, that he had succeeded. For him, the job was done. There was literally nothing left to say. So this is the key takeaway. His famous silence wasn't a sign of defeat. It was a victory lap. It was the quiet that falls after the work is done. It was his final report to the world, declaring the great cleanup of Western philosophy complete. There's this little story that just captures it all perfectly. Wittgenstein is up on a mountain and he meets an old man. He asks the man, "What are you doing up here?" And the old man says, "I'm here to understand everything, the world, value, morality, and then I will go down and explain it all to the people." And Wittgenstein just looks at him for a long, quiet moment. And he sighs. And it's not a sigh of anger or annoyance. It's a sigh of this deep, profound sadness. Because what did that old man on the mountain not know? He didn't know that the noble job he was setting out to do was literally impossible. He didn't know that the very words he was planning to use were destined to fail him. And he didn't know that the people down below were already living in a world where, if Wittgenstein was right, philosophy was no longer needed.
This program is provided by Universal Genesis.